Hello out there in the crypto world. Well, it's a new year. And, we didn't get a video out yesterday like we wanted to because we've got like 8 new projects on top of us. Here's what we're going to do first. I want to go through and talk about what's going on right now in the crypto market. You're seeing a huge bear market downturn coming in. Everybody's crying bear market, bear market. And I think that we possibly are going to go into a bear market. But I think, well, let's discuss it. There's some details here, and I see a strong light at the end of the tunnel, and I want to explain to you what we really think is going on. It's hard to put a finger on it. We've seen some news, but I'm not buying it. There's something else out there, and it's something we feared, and I think it's hitting us now. So stay tuned. DeFi, IoT Latin America. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the crypto world and in Helium. And we'll talk a little bit about Planetwatch. Let's do it. Before we begin, I need to make a disclaimer. Here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we are not professional financial advisors, or are we paid by any company to promote certain products. We here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we invest our own money. We take our own risks. We learn, we make mistakes, and we share what we learn, our successes and our mistakes with you. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, and write to us what more you'd like to learn. Let's go in now and see what else we can share with you. I want to jump right into this. I'm going to try to record a couple videos today so we get them out to you over the weekend as well. We got some really awesome projects going on. And one of them is the SC Prime project. You've got a cash change from they were going to have come out with a, months ago they talked about they were going to come out with a device, like a mining type device. They're not doing that now. They're actually looking at some GPU hash and some things that they're playing with the GPUs. I'm not saying they're going proof of work, but they're kind of looking in that area. There's kind of like these synergies coming out from proof of work that are covering in some different projects that were really kind of block creates kind of exciting, different project. There's some out there that we're going to talk about today. I want to record a couple videos so we can get them out to you over the weekend as well. We're working on these projects, and that's why, remember, here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we aren't sponsored by anybody, even though we're going to start putting some links down below to where you can actually buy things and buy them through our code, so you get a little bit of a discount too, and we might be able to get a little bit of income coming in to support our channel. But we don't get anything from anybody saying, hey, will you blow our horn for us? We don't do that. We buy it, and we look for the best way to buy it if we can. And the SC Prime, we're really working on some really cool things here. Some smaller terabyte mining rigs, as well as some larger terabyte mining rigs. I just got done buying, I think I bought 72 terabytes right now to build one rig, and we're going to go out and get some more. I want to show you how to do that. So you have to wait in line and you can get started. Now remember, they're just jumping off, but there's some really cool things you can jump into as well with the RevoFi, another project we're working on. Hey, there's some really cool things going on in the crypto market. It's very dynamic. In the Metaverse, there's other things going on there too. Our guy from Metaverse is playing games now, and he's making some good dough playing games. I'm not recommending that's what we do, because we're going to waste our days and our time playing video games. And I think that's what the Metaverse is going to do. It's going to create this very unsocial, overweight society, because it's going to pay people to stay home. And if we get the Bidens and everybody else who wants to give away free money to stay home, well, nobody's going to go anywhere. What kind of society are we going to have out there? But let's talk about what's going on in the crypto world. Let's jump into this. Go right to the screen here. All right. So they're talking about internet outages in the top mining country, which is because I always mess this up. Kazakhstan. I think that dude's in that TV program, like, what is his name? I can't remember his name, but I'm from Kazakhstan. Anyway, Kazakhstan. Anyway, they right now, when China shut down their Bitcoin market and they moved to Kazakhstan. There's about 18% of Bitcoin right now is being mined now in Kazakhstan, right? And they're saying because Kazakhstan rose up against their government, raising gas prices. And I know because where our office is down in Ecuador, if they raise gas prices, there's usually what they call a paro. They rise up, and usually it's done by the natives. And they go out and shut all the streets down, shut the country down. And sometimes it gets pretty violent. So what the government did is say, okay, so you can't communicate anymore and form these gatherings to shut down the country. We're going to shut down the internet. So they shut down the internet, like Cuba did last year when Cuba was rising up to fight for their freedoms. They shut down the internet so you can't communicate on your social media. Now, let's learn something from this. First of all, what happens if they shut down all of this hash rate that jumps on or leaves now the Bitcoin market? Does it cause the Bitcoin itself to fall in coin? No, it doesn't, actually. At the end of the day, there are plenty of Bitcoin miners out there. The less hash rate just means that you have more Bitcoin that can be earned per miner. That makes sense. And in summary, there's a lot more detail to it. So that's really not going to affect the overall price of Bitcoin. If anything, it's going to make people excited and they're going to get more Bitcoin. Something else is underlying that market that's causing people to sell off the Bitcoin. Let's go back to what we've always said here at DeFi IoT Latin America. And it's funny because I've noticed that some of these sources of news that come in, and we read a bunch of them, and it's really hard to get a grasp on which ones are actually telling the truth, because a lot of them really are swaying to supporting the governments, right, in regulation and so forth. But I think that is more where we are, and that's why it's not being told to us. What's going on? Well, we know the Biden administration, as well as other global entities, FATF, and the world, the forum, the Economic Forum. What is that called? World Economic Forum. That's what I want. Thank you. World Economic Forum, as well as you got the World Bank. Everybody's involved in trying to create all this regulation now going into 2022. We expected to hit that in this year, in the beginning of this year. You remember you go back to this report, and I'm gonna see if I can find it here. Can I find exactly where it's at? But the crypto thesis for 2022. We talked a little bit about this. Let me jump in this real quick here. That was, can I find it here? I don't know if I can find it off the bat. I wasn't going to talk about that today, but I want to kind of jump into this. Sometimes my mind runs faster than what I've prepared for. Well, I can't find it off the bat. But there are projections that we would probably hit a bear market in this crypto thesis, right? That we hit a bear market, and others were saying the same thing going into the first part of the year because of regulations coming out. Let's think about it. One thing we're going to have that the Biden administration already approved, and they're trying to, in that infrastructure bill, and now they're just trying to work it out, and they got over the next, I think, year or so to get it all worked out to where they can establish regulation that you can have the SEC and so forth, the Securities Exchange Commission, as well as the Chicago's Board of Options Trading, their commission, so forth, have some guidelines how to regulate now. Here's one thing that's happening, and this is where I think why crypto market is down right now. You're coming into a year end, right? Or just first week of January. And you say, well, why would that affect now? If, we had to have things done by December 31st. A lot of the corporations usually end their year in October, right? Their fiscal year. But I think what's happening, we're seeing in this market is the influx or the influence now of these international banks and these financial institutions that are playing a role in these markets. The stock markets, for example, in Canada, and they're proving some of these abilities to get into the market or through different funds, right? You can get involved with through financial institutions. So what happens? But going into the end of the year, we have what's called unearned or unrealized, if you want, unearned capital gains, which is capital gains not realized. Give me an example. You buy Bitcoin for $10, it goes to $20. You finish December 31st, it's at $20. You're going to get taxed on the $10 difference, right? You can take your $10 out that you paid for it, and you got $10 of gains. Well, it's unrealized, it's unearned, because it's still out there. You haven't taken it out yet. So what could happen going in after the first year? It was like right now, it could drop, and yet you had to pay taxes on that as if you had earned that, which is a ridiculous tax and really should not even be legal. However, here's what's going to happen. What I did in my company before, and we'll begin to do again now with unrealized capital gains tax. We are not in the United States, so we're not subject to that. I'm not an owner of this. I have partners. We have different groups that run everything for us. So I don't play a huge role in that with the IRS, but I do, and I did in the past, play a significant role in companies. And what we did was this: before the end of the year, if I had to pay my taxes and unearned gains, I would liquidate my gains, and I would take that gains, and I would invest it into my employees, into courses that I want to take to make me a better leader and a better business partner and a boss at the time. And I would invest in my employees. I'd rather spend the money on going out. And so one time I even took everybody on a 2-week cruise to the Mexican Riviera, everybody. And we brought in this instructor, and he came along and taught us. And it was great. You know, we took 2 hours of classes. The rest of the time we were on a cruise ship and we were out doing things. And we have 2 hours of class every day, and we were able to come back in and write that off. It was a business expense. We spent it on employees, etc. Now, this is what a lot of companies are doing, or they're going to turn around and buy more infrastructure. They're going to turn around and spend that money and offset those earnings, right? Those gains. So there's ways you can do that. And this is how the wealthy do not pay what you would consider, don't pay a lot of taxes. They do pay a lot of taxes. Their percentage might be lower, but it's on a bigger number. And I know when I had my company and it was a small company, I'm paying $150,000 in taxes in the state of California every year. And I was writing off as much as I could. We had a lot of expenses, a lot of overhead. But the idea is that you spend that money, you reinvest that money. So I think what we're coming into is you had that take place. Now you're going to have some influence. Yeah, maybe that had some influence of fear of something. I don't know why, because we didn't see a huge downturn when China got shut down. Actually, it was great. Everybody else I knew were celebrating when China said they can't mine Bitcoin anymore. And keep in mind, by the way, if you go on and look at like the Helium map and so forth, which we're going to show you in a minute, you're going to see that China still is mining. You got a lot of helium miners there too. If you're not a member of the CCP, the Communist Party, then you cannot mine. That's basically what it comes down to. You're not in favor of the government. You're not favored by the government. Your credit score is not where the government wants you to be. Then you don't receive those benefits. They make it illegal, and then they make it exceptional for those that are formed part of the party. And that's the truth. Now, I'm not here to bag on China. You do that all day long. I want to run down here and show you something here real quick. Let's jump back over to here on the screen. Just give you a summary. Here's something else that I want to talk about. You have this downturn, and the reason is because regulations will be coming out. There's a lot of speculation. There's going to be regulation coming out. There's a lot of concerns. There's a lot of different cryptocurrencies that are probably going to be eliminated this year. Let's face the facts. So please, prepare your portfolios. Look at cryptocurrencies that look like they're strongest. If you're looking at Coinbase, you see what's on Coinbase and still on Coinbase, then most likely those cryptocurrencies aren't going to have a problem going into this regulation. But some of those cryptocurrencies are going to be considered a stock, and they're going to be held to the SEC regulations and not outside of it. Bitcoin already been declared by the U.S. government and others that are outside of that stock litmus test, if you would. So why would Bitcoin fall? Well, there's got to be underlying reasons here. Most likely when you're going to have these huge financial institutions now in the Bitcoin game, you're going to see huge jumps and sell-offs, right? It only benefits, just to give you a summary, if Bitcoin's high and I bought it low and I can influence the market, I'm going to sell it, let it drop. And then with concerns and fears, people are so skittish now that it drop more, I'll buy it back again, get my gains out, and I need those gains for last year's earnings as well for the end of the year, right? So then I can turn around, buy it back again, and it rides back up again, and we can play with that market. So that's the downside to financial institutions being here. If you're a day trader and you know how to buy when it's high, low and sell when it's high, that's great. Like we're going to get into the bots and we're going to start doing day trading. We'll teach you how to do it as well. So you have a huge influence here. What exactly is going on? I don't think anybody's telling us exact truth. But I think it's a summary of everything we're talking about. Let's look at the good side, though. Regulations are going to come out, and I don't think that the governments are going to eliminate cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin. They're going to try to get involved with it. They're going to eliminate certain aspects we can get involved, like early on, where it can really make good gains. They're going to try to play it safe for us and protect us, and they're going to make the gains. But I think that's what's affecting the market. Is it going to turn back up? Look at Goldman Sachs, a huge financial institution. They're predicting that Bitcoin is going to come in at $100,000 this year. They have the reasons why they're stating that, and it could take place. And others are also predicting the same, that we could see Bitcoin hit over $100,000 by the end of 2022. Now, let's go down here in summary. So not too long today. Samsung employs Cardano-powered platform in environmental initiative. Cardano's making some moves. Now, if you notice, I've always been big on Cardano. We're still big at Cardano here in DeFi out in Latin America. You know, we're really jumping into Polkadot. Polkadot's like our key right now. That's where we're really in Polkadot parachains are great areas to invest in. But Cardano's making some moves. And if you're in Cardano, we're staying. We're going to stay with the Cardano. We've moved around some things, but we're going to stay Cardano because we think Cardano is just staying consistent and not jumping on the fads. And they're doing the things that are necessary. We're still very bullish on Cardano. They're making some good moves here. And I think strategically, they're going to show up in the end. There's a lot of poop on them. Exotic markets raised $5 million. I'm not going to go into that with Solana within the DeFi. Solana also is growing. Solana's good. I think Solana is also a good area. You know, your people NFTs. I know we've got a young lady here. My wife's doing our NFT stuff for us, and so we'll be giving you more reports on that for the NFTs. Solana is a good market for NFTs. They're low fees, not like Ethereum. Now I want to jump into something else I want to share with you. So you got Avia launched a permissions pool to maintain regulatory compliance in DeFi. So you're seeing all this movement towards regulatory compliance, and that's what I think the bottom line is what's taking place here. Here's what I want to say. NVIDIA releases Omniverse, jumping on to the Metaverse trend. Basically, what NVIDIA is going to do now is they're going to create this 3D platform where engineers can go in and build their systems, their games, so forth, on the Metaverse. NVIDIA is going to do this. So they're going to make this an engineer platform where they can really get creative and come out with some really cool games and really cool Metaverse. There's good to that. There's opportunities there, and there's some very, very concerning points to that, right? Especially of those of different religious faiths, live by morals and ethics. You're going to start seeing a lot of those morals and ethics decline more with the Metaverse coming out, is a concern that many people have, and rightfully so. However, there are going to be some good things there, and there are going to be some opportunities there for business and growth. Just don't become idle, please. I think what I want to jump into here at the end, just to give you a little bit, El Salvador, that's something cool. We like to watch El Salvador. In fact, we're going to be making a trip to El Salvador in June. We're going to be opening up a trust in El Salvador with bank accounts in El Salvador. We're going to get involved and support El Salvador. They're coming out with bonds now. They're trying to legalize different legislation that's going to pass to come out with bonds so that you can actually buy into Bitcoin bonds in El Salvador. And they're looking to raise $1 billion in bonds. And I don't know exactly what these are going to be used for. I know that they want to develop the infrastructure for Bitcoin usage in El Salvador. Hooray for El Salvador. We'd like to see more countries please come on board and do the same thing. Like Wyoming, Texas, other states too. They're going to stand up and defend this global free market where anybody can actually rise up out of poverty. What I want to jump into here is, and we talked about the Bitcoin tumble. Keep in mind that this is gonna happen for a while, and you're gonna have to be able to stomach this. If you invested your money, leave it there. Is what we're going to do. Write it out. Right now is the time to be buying, not going anywhere. It can't go anywhere. We have a $3 trillion market, give or take, and we're expected to grow to a much greater market in the next 2 years. What's going on in Helium? Well, Helium we have now, let's jump on the Helium Explorer. We have 462,000 Helium hotspots popping up. These are growing astronomically. So what's going to happen to your HNT rewards? You're going to start getting less of them, right? Well, with the POCV 11, you're going to see something take place where you're only allowed 18 witnesses now, if I'm not mistaken. I think we moved from like 27 or 25 to 18. So there are some advantages there. Here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we're going to share with you in those changes, you can actually earn with more hotspots. So it's actually good if you got a saturated market. That's going to actually help you out to where, yeah, they're dividing it out, but you can also jump in on that market, right? There's ways to do that. We'll share that with you here in the upcoming weeks. We're doing some experimentation now with that. You're also seeing there's been some issues with the actual token being paid out lately. So you're not seeing as much earnings as you've seen in the past. There's been some hiccups there. But Helium's on top of it. You're always going to have these. Remember, we're still really new in blockchain. We really are. We're in a baby stage still. We're not even to taller stage yet. Well, maybe we're at taller stage, but just getting taller stage. What's our HNT looking like? I keep grabbing the wrong mouse here. What's our HNT looking like today? We're just under $40 per token. We're down a little bit, but still $40 a token is still pretty good over last year's growth, and we're still holding well, being that Bitcoin and Ethereum have dropped tremendously. Okay? Jumping into planets, what do we got going on planets? Well, Planetwatch, you got some issues with the Aware device still, right? A lot of people frustrated on that. We are too. Aware is only paying out like 18 or 19 instead of the 23 planets supposed to be paying out. You're getting a market that's getting oversaturated too with planets. Very quickly it got saturated, which has been concerning for us because we invested deeply with the whole Planetwatch idea. But, you know, some say, well, you're not into it to make the money anyway. Well, if I'm buying devices and I'm going to help out the system, then I want to be rewarded for it as I was promised to be rewarded for it. Some people say, well, quit crying. Well, crying or stating facts. We all want to be rewarded or promised. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a job. I'm going to get paid so much an hour. And I go in and I invest myself to work. And later you come back and say, you know what? You're doing it for the company. We're not going to pay you that much. We're going to reduce that. You'd be awfully ticked off. You people, think about it. Quit being hypocrites. Here's the other thing to close this. Planetwatch is down to about 34 cents, a little over 34 cents. It was bouncing around, got down to 30, 31 the last 10 days or so, then jumped up to like 36. I got 38 one night, like Sunday night in the pure early morning hours, fell back down again. You're going to see that now being pulled around with the whole cryptocurrency market. Remember, Bitcoin has this huge influence. What Bitcoin usually does, it usually starts a scare of a bear market or of excitement of a bull market. You'll see that happen with cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, though, we're starting to separate out, though. And better if we separate out and let each currency then do for itself, work for itself, right? So here we go. Summarizing. You got a down market right now. Write it out. Why we like mining. You get involved with mining, you still get paid no matter what. Leave it there then if you can. We have to take some out because everybody we work with lives off of that. But we leave it in too. We have a lot. We're just buying now. Now's the time to buy. This is a good thing. Regulation is going to come out. It's going to be spotty this year. We knew that going in. It's going to be a rough year. But in the end, you're going to see with more regulation, you're going to have more confidence. So people that were sitting on the sidelines because they're afraid to take risks, they're going to start getting involved. You're going to see that. You're going to see the growth come. So don't be left out. DeFi IoT Latin America, we have some really cool videos coming out. You're going to see I got the same shirt on in the next videos because we're going to record today. I've been busy and I want to get back to developing so I can show you. We're going to show you guys how to develop these different miners and how to get involved in these projects. Revelify we're going to do next. Got to come out tomorrow. So pay attention to that. Then we're going to come out with some more stuff. SC Prime we're working on something small you can do at home. Doesn't cost even $300. You can make $250 to $500 in a month for that. We're going to show you that, plus a bigger rig. We got some cool stuff coming out. Please hit the subscribe button. We're going to give you some links to this news, and then we're going to give you some links on how to and where to go buy it at. We don't like Amazon, but it's kind of easier to get it there. You can go on Best Buy and some other areas too. BH, what is that? BH Supplies, whatever it's called. Like us, thumbs up, write us. Tell us something about you. Who are you? DeFi IoT Latin America. We'll come to you tomorrow.